Have you ever felt like you're stuck in an invisible prison, where no matter how hard you work, how much you pray, or how desperately you try to break through, your financial situation just refuses to change? That suffocating feeling when you look at your bank account and wonder if this is all there will ever be. Well, what if I told you that the very fact you're watching this video right now is not random, not coincidence, not just another piece of content scrolling through your feed, but a divine interruption orchestrated specifically for you? Joseph Murphy understood something profound that most people miss entirely. There are moments in time when the spiritual realm breaks through into our physical reality, when heaven itself leans in and whispers, "Your time has come." And if you're feeling that strange stirring in your spirit right now, that inexplicable pull that made you click on this video, that's because you're standing at the threshold of one of those sacred moments. Something is about to shift in your life, and the signal has reached you at the exact second you needed it most. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now let me ask you something deeply personal. Has this ever happened to you? You've been fighting battles behind closed doors that nobody sees, carrying financial pressure that weighs on your shoulders like an invisible boulder, experiencing sleepless nights where you stare at the ceiling wondering, how much longer can I endure this? Maybe you've looked at the calendar and felt that creeping anxiety. Another year is ending, and nothing has changed. The bills are still there. The debt is still crushing you. The breakthrough you've been praying for still feels like a distant dream. Here's what most people don't understand about financial breakthrough. It's not just about working harder, budgeting better, or finding another side hustle. Those things matter, but they're operating on the surface level. Joseph Murphy discovered that there's an entire dimension of reality, a spiritual realm, where your financial destiny is actually being determined right now. And what you're about to discover might surprise you, because the invisible forces that have been blocking your prosperity are about to be exposed. Stay with me until the end of this message, because what I'm about to reveal goes far deeper than positive thinking or manifestation techniques. We're talking about ancient spiritual principles that have the power to unlock supernatural provision in your life. The universe, or if you prefer God, divine intelligence, infinite mind, has already seen every struggle you've faced, every tear you've cried over unpaid bills, every moment of embarrassment when your card was declined, every sacrifice you've made while watching others seem to effortlessly prosper. And here's the truth that's about to set you free. Your current financial situation is not your final destination. What you're experiencing right now is simply the last chapter of an old story. And you're standing at the precise moment when everything is about to be rewritten. And I need you to understand something crucial. This isn't about someday. This isn't about when things get better. This isn't about next year when you finally get that promotion or when the economy improves. This is a prophetic moment happening right now, in this very instant, as you're reading these words. Joseph Murphy taught that there are specific windows of time when the invisible forces governing your life become malleable, when decisions made in the spiritual realm cascade into your physical reality with unstoppable momentum. Think of it like a cosmic alignment, where the barriers that have been holding back your financial breakthrough suddenly become permeable. But here's the hidden truth that changes everything. These moments don't announce themselves with trumpets and fanfare. They arrive disguised as ordinary days, as random YouTube videos, as seemingly insignificant choices to keep watching or scroll away. Your money story must shift before December 31st. Not maybe, not hopefully, not if you work hard enough. Must shift, because something far more powerful than your effort or willpower is already in motion behind the scenes. There's a divine rewriting taking place in dimensions you cannot see with your physical eyes, a massive reordering of circumstances, opportunities, and resources that are being aligned specifically for you. This isn't about manifestation tricks or positive affirmations written on sticky notes. This is about recognizing that your financial transformation has already been set into motion in the realm of infinite possibilities, and what you do in these next moments will determine how quickly it materializes in your bank account. Now, I want to go even deeper into this revelation, because what I'm about to share will challenge everything you've been taught about money, success, and prosperity. Most people are trying to change their financial situation from the outside in, working harder, cutting expenses, hustling until they're exhausted. But Joseph Murphy discovered the secret that ancient mystics and modern quantum physicists are now confirming. Reality is constructed from the inside out. Your external world is nothing more than a reflection of your internal programming, the beliefs embedded so deeply in your subconscious mind that you don't even realize they're running the show. The journey to financial freedom doesn't start with a better job or a winning lottery ticket. It starts with understanding that there's an invisible blueprint being drawn in the spiritual realm right now, and this blueprint cannot be delayed, denied, or diverted. The impact of this understanding will ripple through every area of your life, transforming not just your finances, but your entire relationship with abundance, security, and self-worth. Write in the comments, "I'm ready for this shift," if something inside you recognizes this truth. Because here's what most people get completely wrong about divine timing and breakthrough. They think they need to wait for the perfect moment, for January 1st, when they can start fresh, for the new year when they'll finally have their life together, for some magical future date when the stars align and everything falls into place. But Joseph Murphy revealed a profound truth that shatters this illusion completely. The divine doesn't operate on human calendars or arbitrary timelines. When heaven decides it's time for your breakthrough, it's not asking for your permission or waiting for you to feel ready. It's moving. Now, in this exact moment, because you need it now. Think about the last time you were in crisis, when the pressure became unbearable, when you couldn't wait another day for relief. That's when miracles happen. Not in the comfortable seasons, not when everything is manageable, but when the urgency reaches a crescendo that demands immediate intervention. The hidden truth behind every major transformation in human history is this: breakthrough arrives precisely when the old way of living becomes unsustainable. Your financial struggle has reached that critical point, and the universe has responded by orchestrating this divine interruption in your life. Heaven is literally calling your name right now, not in some abstract spiritual sense, but as a concrete reality that's about to manifest in ways you can measure, touch, and deposit in your bank account. If this resonates with you and you want to continue this journey of financial and spiritual transformation, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more we're going to explore together about unlocking the abundance that's already been assigned to you. Before December 31st, something is going to happen that defies logical explanation. You're going to see movement in accounts that have been stagnant for months or even years. You're going to witness change in financial patterns that seemed permanently locked in place. There will be evidence, tangible proof that something beyond your own effort has intervened on your behalf. Maybe it's that payment you'd written off as lost suddenly appearing. Maybe it's an opportunity that makes no rational sense based on your qualifications. Maybe it's a debt that somehow dissolves, or a windfall from a direction you never anticipated. The journey you're on right now has entered its most critical phase, where the invisible becomes visible, where the spiritual realm breaks through into physical manifestation. Joseph Murphy called this the hand of the infinite touching your affairs, And when that happens, natural laws bend to accommodate supernatural possibilities. Your money flow isn't just about income and expenses anymore. It's becoming a channel for something far greater, a conduit through which universal abundance is being redirected specifically toward you. The impact of this shift will create ripples that extend far beyond this month, establishing new patterns and pathways that will continue generating prosperity long after December 31st passes. But the key is recognizing what's happening behind the scenes right now. Understanding that while you're reading these words, while you're processing this information, decisions are being made in dimensions beyond your conscious awareness that will fundamentally alter your financial trajectory. Write in the comments, "My breakthrough is now," if you feel this shift beginning inside you. Now there's something powerful I need you to do right now, and it might feel unusual at first, but trust me on this. Joseph Murphy discovered that words aren't just sounds that dissipate into the air. They're creative forces that shape reality at the quantum level. Every ancient tradition knew this. Modern science is confirming it through studies on intention and observation affecting outcomes. Your voice carries an electromagnetic frequency that literally rearranges the molecules of possibility around you. So I want you to say this out loud, right where you are. My finances will not end this year in lack. Say it again. Feel the weight of those words. Notice what happens inside you when you speak with that kind of authority. Something activates in your nervous system. Something shifts in your energy field. Something breaks open in the invisible barriers that have been holding back your abundance. This isn't positive thinking or wishful affirmation. This is you making a decision at the deepest level of your being, drawing a line in the sand and declaring that the old pattern ends here, today, now. The transformation you're seeking doesn't begin with external circumstances changing. It begins with you changing the internal narrative, reprogramming the subconscious blueprint that's been running your financial life on autopilot. But here's where most people stumble, where they get stuck repeating affirmations without seeing results, wondering why the techniques don't work. They're trying to change things on the surface without addressing what's happening in the depths. Joseph Murphy taught something that sounds almost confrontational, and that's because it is. Nothing changes in the natural world until something is confronted in the spiritual realm. There are invisible forces at work behind the scenes of your life, patterns of energy and consciousness that have been operating unchallenged for so long they've become your default reality. These aren't demons or evil spirits necessarily, though you can call them that if it helps you understand. They're more like unconscious programs, collective beliefs about scarcity and limitation, inherited mindsets from generations of poverty consciousness, societal conditioning that tells you money is scarce and you have to struggle for every penny. The hidden truth that changes everything is this. These forces working against your finances, your progress, your increase, your stability, they only have power because they've never been directly confronted. They operate in the shadows of your awareness, in the blind spots of your consciousness, dictating your decisions and sabotaging your success without you even realizing it's happening. But the moment you shine light on them, the moment you name them and challenge their authority over your life, their grip begins to loosen. This is the real journey of transformation, the behind-the-scenes battle that determines whether you break through or stay stuck. The impact of confronting these forces today will reverberate through every financial decision you make from this point. Forward, put down in the comments, "I confront what blocks me," if you're ready to face this truth, because let me ask you something that's probably been gnawing at the back of your mind for months, maybe even years. Why does money come into your hands only to slip through your fingers like water? You get a bonus, a tax refund, an unexpected payment, and before you can even catch your breath, it's gone. Medical emergency, car breakdown, something urgent that demands exactly the amount you just received, Why do opportunities appear on your horizon, get you excited, make you hopeful, and then mysteriously dissolve into nothing? The job interview that went perfectly but never calls back. The business deal that seemed guaranteed but falls through at the last minute. The promotion everyone said was yours until suddenly it isn't. Here's what's really happening, and this is where Joseph Murphy's revelations become almost uncomfortable in their accuracy. Why doesn't your hard work match your results? You're putting in 60-hour weeks while someone else coasts with minimal effort and somehow prospers. You're doing everything right, following all the advice, being responsible and disciplined, yet you're still treading water financially while watching others who seem less deserving surge ahead. And perhaps most painful of all, why do your prayers for financial breakthrough seem to hit a ceiling? Like they're being heard, but the answer never quite arrives. You've been faithful, you've been patient, you've been positive, but nothing fundamentally changes. This isn't bad luck, this isn't coincidence, this isn't even a character flaw or lack of faith on your part. What you're experiencing has a name in ancient wisdom traditions, and understanding this will revolutionize your entire approach to prosperity. Joseph Murphy identified what spiritual texts call the devourer, an invisible force that functions like a leak in your financial pipeline. Everything you earn, everything you build, everything you're trying to accumulate gets systematically consumed by this energy pattern before it can truly establish itself in your life. It eats your income, drains your opportunities, steals the seeds you plant before they can produce a harvest. Now, let me take you deeper into understanding how this operates, because recognizing the pattern is the first step toward breaking it. This spirit of delay works with surgical precision, blocking specific channels of abundance in your life. Your promotion gets delayed indefinitely. Your payment release gets caught in bureaucratic limbo. The inheritance that should have come to you gets tangled in legal complications. Ideas that could generate income somehow never materialize into action. Doors that should open remain mysteriously locked. The journey toward financial freedom becomes this frustrating cycle where you make progress only to get pushed back, climb a few steps only to slide down, build momentum only to hit invisible resistance. The impact of this delay compounds over time, creating a pattern so consistent that you start to believe this is just how life works for you, that prosperity belongs to other people but not to you. Write in the comments, "I see the pattern now," if this resonates with your experience. But here's where this revelation becomes truly life-changing, because understanding the pattern is only half the equation. Every cycle of lack you've experienced, every season of financial dryness that seemed to go on forever, every repeated setback that made you question your worth, every unexplained loss that defied logic, every unexpected bill that arrived at the worst possible moment, every closed door that crushed your hope. These aren't random events scattered throughout your life. They're part of a coordinated spiritual assignment specifically designed to keep you stuck in a perpetual state of almost but not quite. Think about it. How many times have you been on the verge of breakthrough only to have something knock you back down? How many cycles have you completed where you save a little money, build a small cushion, start to feel secure, and then boom, something happens that wipes it all out and you're back to square one? This is the hidden truth that most prosperity teachers won't tell you because it sounds too confrontational, too direct. There are forces operating behind the scenes of your financial life that benefit from keeping you in survival mode. Distracted by immediate crises, too exhausted to claim your true inheritance of abundance. The journey you've been on hasn't been a series of unfortunate coincidences. It's been a systematic campaign to convince you that prosperity isn't meant for people like you. But Joseph Murphy discovered something so powerful in ancient wisdom that it completely reverses this entire dynamic. There's a promise written in the book of Joel that functions like a master key, unlocking restoration on a scale most people can't even imagine. The text says explicitly, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Not some of the years, not a portion of what was lost. Every single year of financial struggle, every wasted opportunity where you were overlooked or undervalued, every stolen blessing that should have been yours but got diverted elsewhere, all of it is marked for restoration. And here's what makes this different from empty motivational platitudes. This restoration doesn't come gently or gradually. It comes with force, with fire, with an intensity that compresses decades of accumulated blessings into concentrated bursts of supernatural provision. The transformation that's about to occur in your finances isn't a slow climb back to zero. It's a quantum leap that bypasses the normal rules of accumulation and growth. When divine restoration activates, you don't just recover what you lost. You receive interest on the delay, compensation for the struggle, reward for persevering when you had every reason to quit. The impact of this principle in your life means that every year you spent barely surviving is about to be converted into overflow. Every season of drought is being exchanged for abundance. Every closed door from your past is opening a floodgate in your future. Type in the comments, "I claim my restoration," if something inside you is awakening to this truth. Now, understanding restoration is powerful, but there's something even more critical you need to grasp right now. Knowledge without activation is just information. Awareness without action changes nothing. Joseph Murphy taught that the universe responds to authority, to decisive declarations that leave no room for negotiation or compromise. So right where you are, I want you to speak this out loud with me, and I mean really speak it, not whisper it, not think it silently, but say it with conviction. Every spirit of delay be broken now. Feel the shift that happens when you vocalize that command. You're not asking permission. You're not hoping it might happen. You're exercising dominion over the invisible forces that have been manipulating your timeline and sabotaging your success. Your money will no longer be held up in bureaucratic limbo or spiritual detention. Payments that have been stuck in some mysterious holding pattern are being released as you speak these words. Opportunities that were blocked by invisible barriers are suddenly accessible again. The devourer that's been eating your seed, consuming your harvest, and stealing your increase is being rebuked and stripped of its power over your finances. This is the hidden truth about transformation that most people never discover. Change doesn't happen through passive wishing or patient waiting. It happens through bold declarations that interrupt the old pattern and establish a new reality. If something shifted inside you while watching this, if you felt those chains breaking or that atmosphere changing around your finances, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a simple way to acknowledge the transformation that's beginning in your life right now. The journey you've been on, this exhausting cycle of 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, ends right now. Not tomorrow when you feel more ready, not next month when circumstances look better, not next year when you've finally figured everything out. Now, today, this moment. Financial stagnation has an expiration date, and you just stamped it. Every chain that's been wrapped around your income, binding your potential, limiting your expansion, those chains are breaking link by link, as your consciousness shifts from victim to victor, from passive observer to active creator. Every pattern of lack that's been running on autopilot in your subconscious mind is being interrupted and overwritten with new programming. Every delayed blessing, every withheld opportunity, every stuck payment is being forced into motion by the authority you're claiming. Right now, the impact of this moment will ripple through your entire financial ecosystem. Behind the scenes, in dimensions you cannot see, there's a massive reorganization happening. Files are being moved to the top of the pile. Names are being remembered. Connections are being made. Resources are being redirected. Divine appointments are being scheduled. Helpers assigned to your breakthrough are receiving their marching orders. This isn't metaphorical or symbolic. This is the actual mechanics of how spiritual laws intersect with physical reality, how consciousness shapes matter, how decisions made in the invisible realm manifest as tangible results in your bank account. Write in the comments, "My cycle is broken," if you feel this shift activating in your spirit. Take a moment right now and just pause. Feel what's happening in the atmosphere around you. There's a tangible shift occurring that goes beyond intellectual understanding. It's almost like the air pressure changed, like something that was pressing down on you just lifted. That suffocating weight you've been carrying, that constant anxiety about money that's been your companion for so long. Can you feel its grip loosening? Joseph Murphy understood something profound about the mechanics of spiritual transformation. The moment something hidden gets exposed to light, its power to control you evaporates. When the invisible becomes visible, when you name what's been operating in the shadows, the universe responds by removing it from your path. And once it's removed, restoration doesn't wait. It rushes in to fill the vacuum. This is the behind-the-scenes reality of breakthrough that nobody talks about. You're not just learning information right now. You're experiencing an actual recalibration of your energetic frequency, a realignment of your consciousness with abundance instead of scarcity. The decisions being made in this moment, the internal shifts happening as you process these revelations, these are creating new neural pathways, new belief structures, new patterns that will govern how money flows into your life from this point forward. The impact is immediate, even if the evidence takes a few days to show up in your physical reality. But here's where most people stumble off the path just when they're on the verge of breakthrough. They treat financial transformation like wishful thinking, like crossing their fingers and hoping things magically improve. Joseph Murphy taught something radically different that separates those who actually break through from those who stay stuck forever. Before this year ends, you need to understand the distinction between wishing and claiming, between hoping and knowing, between positive thinking and covenant understanding. Your financial breakthrough isn't based on maybe, possibly, hopefully. It's based on divine promises that function like spiritual contracts, unbreakable agreements that the universe cannot violate. Think about what a covenant means. It's not a casual suggestion or a nice idea. It's a binding agreement that carries the full weight of divine authority behind it. When ancient texts speak of God's promises concerning provision and abundance, they're not offering motivational slogans. They're establishing legal precedents in the spiritual realm that create ironclad guarantees. The hidden truth that changes everything is realizing you're not begging for blessings. You're claiming what's already been promised, what already belongs to you by right, what's been guaranteed by forces far more powerful than any obstacle standing in your way. This shift in mindset, this transformation from beggar mentality to heir consciousness, is the bridge between where you are and where you're going. Put down in the comments, "I understand covenant," if this revelation is landing in your spirit. Because once you understand covenant, everything about how you approach money transforms completely. There's an ancient text that Joseph Murphy returned to again and again, found in Deuteronomy, that says something so revolutionary most people read right past it without grasping the magnitude. It is God who gives you the power to get wealth, not the power to beg for wealth, not the power to struggle and stress and exhaust yourself pursuing wealth, the power to get it, to attract it, to generate it, to magnetize it toward you. This power isn't rooted in your education level, your family background, your current job title, or how many hours you're willing to work. It's a divine endowment, a supernatural capacity built into your spiritual DNA that operates independently of external circumstances. Here's the hidden truth that will free you from financial anxiety forever. Your provision is not anchored in economic conditions. It doesn't matter if there's a recession, inflation, market crash, or global crisis. It doesn't matter if unemployment is high or opportunities seem scarce. It doesn't matter what the news says about the economy or what financial experts predict. Your access to abundance is connected to a source that exists outside the natural system, a dimension of infinite supply that never experiences shortage. The journey from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness is really a journey from trusting in the visible system to trusting in invisible covenant, from relying on what you can control to surrendering to what's already been promised. Now, let me take you even deeper into this transformation, because there's another promise that needs to become the foundation of your financial identity. The ancient Psalms declare with absolute certainty, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Not I might not want. Not I hope I won't want. Not if I work hard enough maybe I won't want. I shall not want." It's a statement of present reality, not future possibility. Lack is not your portion. Let that sink in for a moment. Shortage is not your destiny. Scarcity is not your identity. These aren't characteristics that define who you are or limitations you need to accept. They're temporary conditions that have been masquerading as permanent reality, and the moment you recognize the difference, everything shifts. The impact of truly embodying this promise goes far beyond just believing you'll have enough money. It rewires your entire relationship with resources, security, and self-worth. Behind the scenes of your conscious awareness, there's a part of your mind that's been operating from a poverty script, making decisions based on fear of not having enough, choosing security over opportunity, playing small to avoid risk. But when you declare from the deepest part of your being that lack is not your portion, that programming gets overwritten with truth. Type in the comments, "Lack is not my portion," if you're ready to claim this as your reality. Because here's where this covenant understanding becomes almost overwhelming in its generosity. There's another promise that Joseph Murphy taught people to engrave into their consciousness, found in Philippians, "My God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory." Read that carefully. Not according to your salary, not according to your bank account balance, not according to your credit score or your job security or the limitations you can see with your physical eyes, according to his riches. And we're not talking about a modest savings account or a comfortable retirement fund. We're talking about infinite, inexhaustible, unlimited supply that exists in dimensions beyond physical measurement. The hidden truth here is staggering when you really let it penetrate your understanding. The source you're connected to doesn't experience recession. It doesn't run out. It doesn't decrease when you withdraw from it. Your needs being met has nothing to do with whether you deserve it, whether you've earned it, whether circumstances look favorable. It's based entirely on the nature of the supply itself, which is boundless. This shift in perspective, this transformation from seeing yourself as dependent on limited human systems to recognizing your connection to unlimited divine provision, changes how you move through the world. The decisions you make, the opportunities you recognize, the faith you carry into uncertain situations, all of it gets upgraded when you truly grasp where your supply originates. Now let me reveal something about divine timing that will ignite expectation in your spirit. God has a documented pattern throughout history of sudden financial turnarounds, not gradual improvements, not slow climbs out of debt, sudden reversals that defy natural explanation. Joseph Murphy collected testimonies of people who were drowning in financial crisis, seeing no way out, and then overnight something shifted. Unexpected payments arrived from sources they'd forgotten about. Debts that seemed permanent suddenly got cancelled through circumstances they couldn't have orchestrated. Promotions materialized for positions they weren't even qualified for on paper. People who had absolutely nothing, who were at the end of their resources and their hope, suddenly stepped into overflow so dramatic their lives became unrecognizable. This is the journey you're on right now, moving from the end of one chapter into the beginning of something so different you'll look back and mark this moment as the turning point. Behind the scenes, while you're watching this video, while you're processing these revelations, there are movements happening in the invisible realm that will soon manifest as visible evidence in your physical circumstances. The impact of understanding these patterns means you stop being surprised by sudden breakthrough and start expecting it as your new normal. Write in the comments, "My suddenly is coming," if you feel this truth resonating in your spirit. So right now, I need you to make another declaration, and this one carries even more weight than the previous ones, because it's positioning you in a realm that operates beyond natural laws. Say this with me out loud with absolute conviction. I walk in supernatural provision. Not I hope for supernatural provision. Not I'm trying to achieve supernatural provision. I walk in it. Present tense, current reality. The transformation happens the moment you speak it, because your words aren't just describing reality, they're creating it. Speaking activates dormant possibilities. Declaring authorizes invisible forces to move on your behalf. Believing opens your consciousness to see what's always been there but was hidden from your perception. Joseph Murphy taught that the universe is constantly responding to the vibration of your dominant thoughts and declarations. When you claim supernatural provision, you're not asking permission from some distant deity. You're exercising your divine authority as a conscious creator, commanding your reality to align with truth rather than circumstances. The hidden truth behind every miracle you've ever heard about is this: someone spoke a new reality into existence before there was any physical evidence to support it. They walked in faith while their bank account still showed zero. They declared abundance while bills were stacking up. They believed in supernatural intervention before anything supernatural had manifested. And their unwavering conviction became the bridge between invisible possibility and visible reality. Now, here's something urgent I need you to understand about this particular moment in time. We're not in an ordinary season. Joseph Murphy recognized that there are specific windows in the cosmic calendar when spiritual forces align in such a way that breakthrough becomes exponentially more accessible. Right now, as we approach the end of this calendar year, heaven is leaning in. There's an acceleration happening in the invisible realm that's compressing timelines, fast-tracking delays, and pushing through obstacles that would normally take years to overcome. December 31st isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a prophetic deadline, a divine appointment, a spiritual marker that carries significance in dimensions beyond your conscious awareness. Think about the impact of recognizing this moment for what it truly is. Behind the scenes, while most people are just counting down days until a new year, there's a massive reorganization of resources, opportunities, and divine appointments being coordinated specifically for those who are awake to see it. The decisions you make right now, the faith you activate in this window, the declarations you speak during this acceleration period, they carry multiplied power. Your journey toward financial breakthrough isn't subject to normal time frames anymore. What should take months can happen in days. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes inevitable. Type in the comments, "I recognize this window," if you sense the urgency of this divine timing. Because when heaven sets a time, something shifts in the fabric of reality itself. This isn't about you hoping things work out or trying really hard to make something happen. when divine timing locks into place, when the invisible realm marks a specific moment for your breakthrough, every force in the universe begins aligning to fulfill that appointment. Nothing on earth can stop it. No opposition from people who don't want to see you succeed. No resistance from systems designed to keep you struggling. No interference from hell itself can derail what has been ordained for this specific window of time. Joseph Murphy understood that human effort and divine timing are not competitors, they're collaborators. Your faith activates what's already been scheduled, and your declarations give permission for what's already been decided to manifest in your physical experience. Something must happen before December 31st. Not something might happen if conditions are favorable. Not something could potentially occur if you're lucky. Something must happen. That word must carries the weight of cosmic inevitability, the certainty of spiritual law, the guarantee of promises that cannot be broken. The hidden truth here is that your breakthrough isn't dependent on perfect circumstances arriving first. The breakthrough creates the circumstances. The shift in the invisible realm forces change in the visible world. Before this deadline arrives, something in your finances is going to move. Money that's been frozen is going to flow. Opportunities that were invisible are going to appear. Resources that seemed unavailable are going to become accessible. Now let me paint this picture more specifically so you can recognize it when it starts happening. What was stuck must be released. That payment that's been held up for months, that refund trapped in bureaucratic limbo, that approval delayed by mysterious complications, the logjam is breaking. What was withheld must be returned. Blessings that should have been yours. Years ago, opportunities you were denied unfairly, compensation for struggles you endured, it's all coming back with interest. What was broken must be restored. The confidence that financial trauma shattered, the hope that repeated disappointment crushed, the dreams that scarcity forced you to abandon, they're being rebuilt stronger than before. The transformation happening right now goes deeper than just getting money. It's a complete recalibration of your relationship with abundance, a fundamental shift in how the universe relates to you financially. Behind the scenes, your energetic signature is changing from lack to overflow, from victim to victor, from surviving to thriving. The impact of this shift will create momentum that carries far beyond December 31st, establishing patterns that continue generating prosperity throughout the coming year and beyond. Put down in the comments, something must happen if you're claiming this promise with absolute certainty. Because here's what gives this promise even more credibility, even more weight in your spirit. Joseph Murphy studied the ancient scriptures and discovered something that pattern-seeking minds cannot ignore. God operates within appointed times. These aren't random moments. They're precisely calculated intersections of divine will and human readiness. Sarah conceived at the appointed time, not when she was young and fertile, but when she was 90 years old, and the miracle was undeniable. Israel was delivered from Egypt at the set time, exactly 430 years after the promise was given, down to the very day. Christ came at the fullness of time, not a moment earlier or later than the cosmic schedule required. The hidden truth here is that your breakthrough has been scheduled too, marked on a calendar that exists beyond physical time. And this moment you're living in right now is that appointment materializing. The journey you've been on, all the delays and frustrations and seeming setbacks, they weren't mistakes, they were preparations, positioning you for this exact window when everything converges. Behind the scenes, forces you couldn't perceive were arranging circumstances, preparing people, opening pathways, removing obstacles, all choreographed to align with this prophetic deadline. The impact of recognizing this pattern means you stop questioning why it took so long and start anticipating what's about to break open. Now, let me explain something that might sound intense, but is absolutely crucial for you to understand. Have you noticed that as you've been getting closer to breakthrough, as this year has been drawing to a close, the warfare in your life has intensified? The attacks got more aggressive. The obstacles multiplied. The pressure increased. The resistance strengthened. That's not coincidence. That's not bad luck. That's confirmation. Joseph Murphy taught that spiritual opposition always escalates right before major breakthrough because invisible forces can sense what you can't yet see. The enemy of your prosperity detected that a release was coming, that a shift was being written into your story, that a breakthrough was scheduled, that a financial reversal was being orchestrated for you before this year ends. Think about it from that perspective. If there was nothing significant about to happen in your finances, why would there be so much resistance? Why would everything seem to fight against you at once? The hidden truth is that spiritual warfare intensifies in proportion to the magnitude of your coming breakthrough. The harder it's been, the bigger what's about to manifest. The transformation being prepared for you is so significant that forces opposed to your success are throwing everything they have at you to discourage you, distract you, make you quit right before you cross the finish line. Write in the comments, "I'm crossing the finish line," if you recognize this pattern in your own experience. So right now, understanding the warfare you've been facing, knowing your breakthrough is scheduled, I need you to make a declaration that seals your fate for the remainder of this year. Say this with me, and I want you to feel the authority rising in your voice as you speak. I will not leave this year empty. Say it again, louder this time, with more conviction. I will not leave this year empty. One more time until you feel something ignite in your spirit. I will not leave this year empty. Joseph Murphy discovered that repetition isn't about convincing God to do something. It's about convincing your own subconscious mind to accept a new reality, to override the old programming that expected disappointment, to create such a strong, energetic signal that the atmosphere around you has no choice but to respond. The hidden truth about declarations is they're not passive wishes floating into the void. They're active commands that reorganize molecular structures, that shift probability fields, that open doorways in dimensions you cannot see. When you decree with genuine faith and authority that you will not leave empty, you're not begging for favor. You're exercising dominion over your reality, refusing to accept any outcome except the one that aligns with divine promise. The transformation happens in that moment of decisive conviction, when wavering stops and certainty takes over. Now, let me take you even deeper into what needs to happen for this breakthrough to fully manifest, because there's a critical principle most people miss that keeps them stuck at the threshold of abundance. You cannot shift into abundance until the chains of bondage are broken. You cannot step into overflow while curses are still operating in your bloodline. You cannot walk in financial freedom while invisible barriers remain standing between you and your destiny. Joseph Murphy taught that prosperity isn't just about adding positive elements to your life. It's first about removing the negative forces that block, hinder, and sabotage your success. Think about it like this. If you're trying to fill a bucket that has holes in the bottom, it doesn't matter how much water you pour in. The leak will drain it faster than you can fill it. Behind the scenes of your financial struggle, there are spiritual holes, energetic leaks, invisible sabotage mechanisms that have been operational for so long, you thought they were just part of how life works. Maybe they're generational patterns inherited from parents who struggled their entire lives. Maybe they're limiting beliefs programmed into you before you were old enough to question them. Maybe they're curses spoken over you by people who envied your potential. Whatever their origin, they've been functioning like invisible chains, keeping you bound to lack no matter how hard you work to escape it. The journey toward breakthrough requires confronting these bondages directly, naming them, breaking their legal right to operate in your life. The impact of this confrontation will be the difference between temporary relief and permanent transformation. Type in the comments, "I break every chain," if you're ready to confront what's been holding you back. Because let me ask you some questions that will help you identify exactly where these chains are attached. Have you ever felt like you're being dragged backward despite working harder than everyone around you? You put in double the effort but get half the results. Have you watched debt multiply in ways that defy mathematical logic? You pay down $1,000 and somehow end up owing more than when you started. Does money disappear from your hands so quickly you can barely remember having it? You get a bonus, and within days it's completely gone, consumed by emergencies that seem to materialize out of nowhere. Are you stuck watching others rise effortlessly while you grind and struggle for every inch of progress? People with less talent, less work ethic, less dedication, somehow leap ahead while you remain in the same financial position year after year. These aren't normal patterns. These aren't just bad luck or poor financial management. Joseph Murphy identified these as signatures of curse activity, spiritual bondages that operate below the surface of conscious awareness, manipulating outcomes to keep you locked in perpetual struggle. The hidden truth that most spiritual teachers won't tell you is that curses are real, not in some superstitious medieval sense, but as energetic patterns that carry momentum and power across generations. They're decisions made by ancestors, words spoken over bloodlines, agreements entered into that continue operating until someone with enough authority breaks them. But here's where everything changes, where hope floods back in, where the transformation becomes not just possible, but guaranteed. There's a scripture that Joseph Murphy anchored his entire teaching on curse breaking, found in Galatians. Christ has redeemed us from the curse. Not will redeem, not might redeem if you're good enough, has redeemed, past tense, already accomplished. Every curse of poverty that's been following your family for generations, every curse of lack that's been assigned to your name, every bloodline limitation that says people like us never get ahead, all of it has already been defeated. The work is done. The victory is won. The power those curses had over you was stripped away 2,000 years ago. Now, what makes this so powerful is understanding that you're not trying to break curses through your own strength or worthiness. You're enforcing a legal decision that was already made in the spiritual courtroom. Behind the scenes, in dimensions governed by spiritual law, there was a transaction that paid the price for your freedom. The journey from bondage to breakthrough isn't about earning liberation. It's about claiming what was already purchased on your behalf, activating the redemption that exists, whether you know about it or not. Write in the comments, "I claim my redemption," if this truth is resonating deep in your spirit right now. So right now, I need you to participate actively in what's about to happen, because what you speak in the next few moments will set the trajectory for your financial future. Say this with me, and don't just mumble it under your breath. Speak it with the full force of your conviction. I cancel every financial curse by the blood of Jesus. Say it again, feeling the authority in those words. I cancel every financial curse by the blood of Jesus. One more time, until you sense something breaking in the atmosphere around you. I cancel every financial curse by the blood of Jesus. Joseph Murphy understood that these aren't magic words or religious formulas. They're legal declarations that activate spiritual laws, that enforce redemption rights, that cancel contracts you never signed but inherited anyway. Every generational poverty pattern that said your family would always struggle, cancelled. Every ancestral limitation that whispered you'd never amount to anything, broken. Every demonic debt cycle that kept money flowing out faster than it could flow in, shattered. The transformation happening right now isn't superficial, it's foundational, reaching into the roots of your financial identity and pulling out the poisonous beliefs that have been choking your prosperity. Now, here's where this gets really practical, where the spiritual breakthrough translates into physical evidence you can measure. Your hands will no longer produce emptiness. Think about what that means. Every project you touch will bear fruit. Every business idea you develop will generate income. Every investment of your time and energy will yield returns. The hidden truth is that your hands have always had creative power, but curses were intercepting the harvest before you could reap it. Not anymore. Your labor will no longer be stolen by invisible forces that consumed your efforts before they could manifest as reward. You work, you get paid, you sow, you reap, you invest energy, you receive results. The direct correlation between effort and outcome is being restored. Your harvests will no longer be delayed, arriving just in time or even ahead of schedule, instead of always coming too late to solve the crisis. Resources will no longer be devoured by emergencies and unexpected bills that materialize to drain every blessing the moment it arrives. Behind the scenes, the entire architecture of how money relates to you is being reconstructed. The impact of this shift extends beyond just having more money. It's about walking in a completely different financial dimension where provision flows naturally, where opportunities appear consistently, where increase becomes your normal rather than the exception. Put down in the comments, "My hands produce fruit," if you're claiming this transformation right now. Because now that the curses are cancelled and the patterns are broken, you need to establish your new identity with absolute clarity. There's a proclamation that needs to become the foundation of how you see yourself from this moment forward. Say this with me, and I want you to really feel the truth of it penetrating every cell of your being. I am not cursed, I am blessed. Say it again, louder, with more conviction. I am not cursed, I am blessed. Keep saying it until something shifts inside you. I am not cursed, I am blessed. Joseph Murphy taught that identity precedes destiny. You will never rise above the way you see yourself at the deepest level. If you secretly believe you're cursed, that you're destined for struggle, that prosperity belongs to other people but not you, then no amount of hard work or positive thinking will change your circumstances permanently. But when you declare your true identity as blessed, chosen, favored, something breaks in the spiritual realm. Chains that have been wrapped around your potential start snapping link by link. Weight that's been pressing down on your finances begins lifting. The atmosphere around your money situation actually shifts, becoming lighter, more receptive, more conducive to breakthrough. Now, let me reveal something about the mechanics of manifestation that will empower you to actively participate in creating your financial future. There's an ancient text in Job that says, "You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you." Not unthink a thing, not wish for a thing, not hope for a thing. Decree. Your voice carries spiritual power that most people never tap into because they've been conditioned to believe they're powerless victims of circumstances. But the hidden truth is that your words create pathways in the invisible realm, opening channels through which resources can flow, establishing connections that didn't exist before you spoke them into being. When you decree something with faith and authority, you're not just making noise. You're issuing commands that angels respond to, that universal laws obey, that physical matter rearranges itself to accommodate. The transformation you're seeking doesn't happen by passively waiting for good things to show up. It happens through active participation, through bold declarations that refuse to accept the current reality as permanent. Behind the scenes, every decree you make with genuine conviction sends ripples through dimensions you cannot see, triggering chain reactions that eventually manifest as physical evidence in your bank account, in unexpected opportunities, in doors that suddenly swing open after years of being locked. The journey you're on right now is teaching you to step into your authority as a conscious creator, recognizing that you're not a puppet at the mercy of fate, but a powerful being capable of shaping your own destiny. Write in the comments, "I decree open doors," if you're ready to exercise this authority. So right now, understanding the power of your decrees, let's get specific about what needs to open in your life, because vague declarations produce vague results, but precision creates precision. Say this with me, commanding each door to respond to your authority. Doors of employment open now, not eventually, not when the timing is perfect now. Doors of promotion open now. That position you've been qualified for but overlooked, it's opening. Doors of business increase open now. New clients expanded. Reach multiplied revenue streams, all opening simultaneously. Doors of contracts and clients open now. Deals that have been in negotiation limbo are suddenly finalizing. Doors of refunds and reimbursements open now. Money that belongs to you but got trapped in systems is being released. Doors of settlements and compensation open now. Justice delayed is finally arriving. Doors of unexpected favor open now. Opportunities you didn't even know existed are about to present themselves. Joseph Murphy taught that specificity in declaration creates clarity in manifestation. When you name exactly what you need, you're giving the universe precise coordinates, clear instructions, definite targets. The hidden truth is that abundance isn't one generic blessing. It's multiple streams of provision flowing from different sources simultaneously. The transformation you're experiencing right now is opening all these channels at once, creating a convergence of breakthrough from directions you never anticipated. But here's what makes this moment absolutely electric with possibility. This isn't something scheduled to happen next week or next month. Heaven is moving right now, this very second, as you're processing these words. Resources are shifting right now, being redirected from their current holders toward you. Approvals are being released right now. Paperwork that's been stuck is suddenly getting stamped and processed. Names are being remembered right now. People who forgot about you are having your name drop into their consciousness out of nowhere. Assigned helpers are waking up right now. Individuals positioned to bless you are receiving divine prompts to reach out, to make introductions, to open doors you couldn't open yourself. The impact of understanding this real-time movement changes how you walk through the rest of your day. You're not waiting for breakthrough to arrive someday. You're watching it unfold moment by moment, recognizing signs that would have been invisible before. Behind the scenes, there's a massive coordination happening, orchestrating encounters, timing phone calls, arranging circumstances that will converge to deliver your financial miracle. The journey isn't about patience anymore. It's about expectancy, staying alert to opportunities materializing in real time. Type in the comments, "It's happening now," if you can feel this movement beginning in your life. Now let me take you into a dimension of spiritual assistance that most people never access because they don't realize it exists. There's a scripture in Psalm 91 that declares something astonishing. "He shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways." Not in some of your ways, not just in spiritual matters or physical protection, in all your ways, which absolutely includes your finances. Joseph Murphy understood that the invisible realm is populated with intelligent beings whose assignment is to facilitate your prosperity, to remove obstacles from your path, to orchestrate circumstances that human effort alone could never arrange. Right now, as you're engaged with this message, angels assigned specifically to wealth delivery are being dispatched to your situation. Angels assigned to financial favor are activating connections on your behalf. Angels assigned to restoration are recovering what was stolen from you. Angels assigned to multiplication are touching your resources, causing them to expand beyond natural explanation. The hidden Truth here is that you're not navigating this financial breakthrough alone through sheer willpower and positive thinking. You have supernatural assistance operating behind the scenes, working in dimensions you cannot perceive, but will soon see evidence of in your physical reality. Think about what's happening right now in the invisible realm. Angels are literally touching your bank accounts, interfacing with digital systems, influencing the thoughts of people who control approvals and releases. They're touching your business, arranging divine appointments with clients you haven't met yet, opening conversations that will lead to contracts. They're touching your paperwork, moving your file to the top of someone's desk, causing bureaucratic delays to suddenly resolve. They're touching your contracts, softening the hearts of people who were previously resistant, creating favorable terms where there were none before. The transformation occurring isn't just internal mindset work, it's external reality being rearranged by forces more powerful than human authority. And here's where this gets really exciting, where faith meets tangible evidence. Some of you watching this are about to experience sudden deposits that you cannot explain. Money appearing in your account from sources you'd forgotten about or never knew existed. Unexpected approvals for loans, grants, applications that you'd written off as rejections. Old opportunities that died months or years ago are about to revive, people reaching back out as if no time had passed. Forgotten refunds from purchases or overpayments you made are about to show up. Debt cancellations that make no logical sense. Creditors suddenly willing to forgive balances or accept settlements far below what you owed. The impact of angelic intervention is that breakthrough happens in ways you couldn't have strategized or manipulated into existence. The journey you're on is about to accelerate dramatically as supernatural assistance joins your natural effort. Put down in the comments, "Angels are working for me," if you're opening yourself to this supernatural help. Now I want you to do something that might feel unusual but is incredibly powerful. Right where you are, take out your phone or grab your wallet, whatever represents your finances most directly. Place your hand on it. This isn't superstition or religious ritual. This is prophetic contact. A physical act that anchors spiritual authority into material reality. Joseph Murphy taught that faith without corresponding action is incomplete, and right now we're going to speak directly to your financial accounts with the same authority you'd use to command anything under your dominion. Say this out loud, feeling the words vibrate through your hand into your phone or wallet. I command my savings account to multiply. I command my salary account to reflect consistent increase. I command my business account to overflow with transactions and revenue. Don't whisper it. Don't think it silently. Speak it with conviction, as if your voice carries the weight of divine backing, because it does. The hidden truth is that money responds to authority just like everything else in creation. Your accounts aren't fixed, static numbers. They're living energy systems that shift and change based on the frequencies directed toward them. Behind the scenes, as you speak these commands, you're literally reprogramming the energetic blueprint that governs your financial reality. Now, let me reveal something about the mechanics of wealth that will completely transform how you understand prosperity. There's a principle in Proverbs that says, "The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the righteous." This isn't about judgment or punishment. It's about divine redistribution, a cosmic rebalancing where resources held by those who misuse them get transferred to those who will steward them according to higher purpose. Joseph Murphy understood that there are vast reserves of wealth, opportunities, and resources currently in the hands of people who didn't earn them, don't appreciate them, and aren't using them for good. And there's a moment coming, a divine release, where those resources get reassigned. Think about what this means for you personally. The finances you need aren't lost or unavailable. They exist right now, stored up, preserved, marked with your name, waiting for the appointed time of transfer. Opportunities that seem to belong to others are actually temporary placeholders until you're ready to receive them. The transformation happening in this season is that readiness aligning with release, your consciousness expanding to match the magnitude of blessing that's been reserved for you. The impact of understanding wealth transfer shifts you from a scarcity mindset that fights for scraps to an abundance mindset that expects provision to flow from unexpected sources. Write in the comments, "Wealth is transferring to me," if you're claiming this divine redistribution. If you've made it this far, then you know this wasn't just another video you stumbled across. Something brought you here, kept you engaged, and walked you through this entire journey of financial transformation. That's significant. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt those shifts happening as we moved through these revelations together, I want to invite you to become part of this community. Hit that subscribe button because there's so much more we're going to explore together about prosperity consciousness, spiritual breakthrough, and the mechanics of manifestation that actually work in real life. And look, I'd love to know you made it all the way through. Write in the comments, "This message was meant for me." When I see that, I know this content is landing where it needs to land, connecting with the people who are genuinely ready for transformation. Your comment creates a ripple that helps this message reach others who need it. Just as much as you did when you clicked on this video. If this spoke to something deep inside you, go ahead and hit that like button. Not because I'm asking you to, but because it helps us build something meaningful here, a space where real spiritual and financial transformation happens, not just theory and empty promises. Now, there's a video right here that takes this even deeper, exploring the specific techniques Joseph Murphy taught about impressing your subconscious mind with wealth consciousness. It's the perfect next step on this journey. Click and continue with me over there because your breakthrough is just getting started.